With Formula One season right around the corner for 2023, I have a couple of more rankings videos I want to make. And actually, this one was recommended to me by a subscriber, so thank you for recommending it. I'll always take recommendations from you guys, and I'm excited to actually have this small community that we have so far and to build up from it and to keep making videos that you guys want, because I'm always there for it. So speaking of that, please like, subscribe, and let's actually get into the rankings video. So for the team principles rankings video that I have today, we have proven legends, important to the team, average, half potential, and quit F1. So obviously we only have 10 team principles. For Alfa Romeo, we know that Andrea Seidel is technically not a team principal, and they kind of had that other guy, the really long name, Alessandri something. So I kind of have them together, but I'm more leaning towards Andrea Seidel. That's who I'm going to put into this list. So for quit F1, I have one team principal. And listen, when you first start watching Formula One, Gunther is not a guy that you dislike. He's somebody that you actually end up liking. He has this like extravagant personality to him. He's fun, you know? But as you watch F1 more and you become more mature to the sport and learning about the sport and really learning in general about teams and their team principles and so on, to me, he is the most unlikable team principal by far, and actually the one that is the worst. Haas has been in the sport now since 2016. They have achieved absolutely nothing. They've had one pole position, which, don't get me wrong, that pole position was amazing, but no podiums. They got fifth 1 year, which was an extreme accomplishment, and I thought they were going to advance from it, but they've just been kind of there. And he has done nothing to improve that culture. He is such a critical team principal. He puts so much pressure on his drivers to perform over stupid points and not actually perform to the potential of the car. The car could be dead last, 10th, and he'd still expect points out of the team. To me, I find that so ridiculous, and the way that he speaks about his actual team is, I don't know, he's not a very leadership type role. He's been in F1 for a very long time and actually worked for Jaguar at some point. I'm pretty sure he was in Ferrari at some point too. Like, the guy has a pretty well-established career in Formula One, but man, is he a bad team principal. And genuinely, I don't know what to expect out of the guy. The guy is just kind of there to be there as a team principal. Haas needs a new team principal and a new leadership under him. I fully believe in that. Gunther Steiner should quit F1. Now we are in have potential, and these team principles I had this category for this reason only. Andrea Stella and James Vowles have not been team principals yet, so I am having them in have potential, and I'm going off of who I think will be the better team principal. Like, I already think they're better than Gunther Steiner because they're just there. But in general, I can't rate them in either average, important to the team, or proven legends because they have not yet proven anything, and it's their first year as team principals. So I'm going to say James Vowles is going to be better than Andrea Stella. Andrea Stella was a very quick pick, in my opinion, for McLaren. Is it a good pick? Probably. I mean, like, they know Andrea Stella inside and out. He has a very good F1 career. Does he have as good of a career as James Vowles? He probably does have even better of a career. He's worked with the likes of Alonso and Michael Schumacher and in Ferrari. He's worked through all these really bad McLaren years, so I mean, I can't really give him too much credit for that. McLaren hasn't been great for these past 10 years or so. Not 10 years really, because that's when Lewis was driving. They were really good, and same with Fernando. But yeah, for the past 7-8 years, haven't been great. So yeah, for James Vowles, Mercedes, you know his career. He has been a very important part of that team, and him going to Williams was a great decision by Williams. They picked up probably the best team principal they could have. I actually thought it was going to be Susie Wolff, which would have been cool too. Okay, we are in the average, and maybe it might come to a surprise for a lot of you, but I do not see Omar as a very good team principal. With really what happened with Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon, the way that he kind of coordinated himself even this year, or 2022 per se, with Ocon and Alonso, there is always constant team battles with this guy. He does not know how to step up to the plate and be like, listen, you guys cannot do this. Let's stop that. He has led the teams to, I think, higher potentials. Like that Force India team, and really when it was even like a racing point, was led to a high potential in comparison to the money they had, the budget that they were spending, what their resources were. He did a great job of that, but him as a leader, absolutely not. I think he's very average. I think that somebody like a James Vowles should be way ahead of him and will be a lot better than him. I don't really rate Mike Crack and Francois that highly either. That's why I have them in average. I think that they're replaceable. Do I think that they're bad? Absolutely not. But I do think that there is a lot better in the sport, and they should learn something from the important to the team and proven legends. And Omar has a lot to learn when it comes into this standpoint. Mike Crack, on the other hand, I think is just the tiniest bit better. I think he's better with how he coordinates his actual team. Sure, we only have him 1 year for Aston Martin. He was with BMW before. He has a good career in general with BMW and working around BMW, whether it be Formula One or not. I do think that he can be extremely important to the team later on. 2023 will really prove to me how good Mike Crack is, honestly. But let's see. For now, this is where I have him standing, just a little bit ahead of Omar. Both are kind of in this like mid-tier for me. And Francois, I mean, he's okay. France is all right. Listen, he's been in that AlphaTauri team for a long time. It's not like the potential is that high, honestly. They're who they are. They're a team that's just kind of average. He can only really lead them to be so high. I can't rate a team principal that's not been in a top tier winning team that highly. He's always been kind of just average. Like, the team has been average. The way that he coordinates himself. He has made a couple of legends though. Let's be honest. But the team is there to be development. That's why I Francois. He is better than Mike Crack and Omar by a good amount, I would say though. He is, I would say, even like a legend really to the Red Bull team. I mean, he's done a lot for that team and developed that second side and sister team a lot. So Francois deserves some credit. Okay, we are in important to the team where we have Frederick Vasseur and Andreas Seidel. I almost said Andreas Stahl. Andreas Seidel. So for these two, now Frederick does not have, I would say, the biggest pedigree when it comes to being a team principal. He was for, obviously, what we know him for in Alfa Romeo. Then he was a team principal for Renault for a year. And while he didn't really prove himself in Renault, the way that he's held his Alfa Romeo team, considering its budget and resources, he's done a good job. He's developed somebody like a legend, like will be an upcoming legend, Charles Leclerc. He led that team, Alfa Romeo, to actually being 5th or 6th last year. So he's done a good job. I would say that Fred is good, and I think that he's the right man for Ferrari, which makes him important to the team. This list is very subjective, and I find it hard to really rank all of these because the years of experience between Christian Horner to James Vowles is a 15-year difference. So it's hard to genuinely rank them on who is that good. The only one that was easy was Gunther Steiner. But besides that, Frederick, important to the team. I see him as a good contribution to Ferrari. And when it comes to Andreas Seidel, proved himself in McLaren, led that team out of the dumps into a good position, and was a great team principal. Genuinely loved by Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris while at the team. Carlos also liked them. I mean, the guy has proven himself to be amazing, and what he can do in Audi will really see if he can put himself in that tier list of proven legends for me. Just by the slightest margin, Christian to me is the best team principal. By what he's proven in the sport, how he led this Red Bull team from what it was in the beginning, as even like just taking it from that Jaguar to what it is now, Christian Horner is, in my opinion, the best team principal coming into 2023 and in general of the sport. Toto Wolff is right there, and these guys will go down in history as some of the best team principals ever, because rightfully so, these guys have led their teams. They know how to make a teammate pairings. They know how to coordinate a team together. They're harsh, but correct. They defend their team like family. That's how it should feel. It's not a blame culture, but they will stick it on you if you're doing bad. And I love a team principal that does that. So both Christian and Toto, for me, come down as legends. You gotta love the guys. What are you guys' thoughts on this list? What would you guys have changed? I mean, when I'm looking at this list, I told you, it's very subjective. Some definitely could not be in the tier list that they're at. I could maybe put Omar higher to his achievements. I could put Mike Crack and to have potential because of how low he's been in the sport. It's very subjective, but this is what I kind of came to off of what I've seen in practically 2022 and really leading up until like 2023, what I think these guys all have. This is a 2023 tier list when I mention this. Like, these are what I think these guys really prove to the F1 sport. So let me know your guys' list down below. I'll have a link to this in my description. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world. We are so close to 500, and I'm so thankful for you guys. And peace.